from behind now.
Taking advantage of the distraction by
The WWE Universe is built on rivalries, championships, and unforgettable moments. But sometimes the most emotional moments come from outside the storyline. This week, fans around the globe were shaken as WWE announced the heartbreaking passing of one of the greatest legends to ever step into the ring, Rey Mysterio, the man who inspired millions with his high-flying lucha libre style and who became a true icon of professional wrestling, left behind a legacy that can never be replaced. But what made the moment even more heartbreaking was watching his son, Dominik Mysterio, break down in tears as the WWE family and the Anoa'i dynasty came together to honor him. Rey Mysterio, the legacy of a lucha legend. Before we get to the emotional farewell, we must look back at the life Rey Mysterio lived. For over 3 decades, Rey captivated audiences worldwide. At just 5 feet 6 inches, he broke barriers in a world dominated by giants. His agility, courage, and innovation brought lucha libre to the mainstream stage. With unforgettable matches against the likes of Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, and Batista, Rey proved time and again that heart mattered more than size. To fans, he wasn't just a wrestler, he was an inspiration, a hero who showed that dreams could come true no matter the odds. Dominik Mysterio's heartbreaking breakdown. On Monday Night Raw, the atmosphere was somber. The lights dimmed, and the WWE Universe rose to their feet in silence as Dominik Mysterio walked slowly to the ring. There was no arrogance, no bravado, none of the attitude fans had seen in his recent heel persona. Instead, Dominik was simply a grieving son, holding back tears as he carried one of his father's masks. The crowd chanted, "Thank you, Rey," in unison as Dominik struggled to speak. Finally, his voice cracked. "I never thought I'd have to stand here without him. My dad wasn't just a legend. He was my hero. He gave me everything. And now, he's gone." Tears streamed down Dominik's face, and for the first time in years, the WWE Universe rallied around him with compassion rather than boos. The Mysterio family in attendance. At ringside, members of the Mysterio family watched on, visibly emotional. Rey's wife and daughter, who had stood by him throughout his career, comforted one another. Fans could feel the raw emotion, realizing that this was more than a wrestling moment. It was a family saying goodbye to its heart. Dominik knelt in the center of the ring, gently placing his father's mask on the canvas, a symbolic gesture that brought tears to everyone watching. The WWE locker room pays respect. Moments later, the WWE roster filed onto the stage. Legends like John Cena, Randy Orton, and Edge bowed their heads. Current stars like Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Bianca Belair joined them. Even Dominik's former rivals, such as Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, stood in solidarity. The respect Rey commanded in the locker room was undeniable. For decades, he had been the locker room leader, always humble, always encouraging, and always giving back to the business he loved. A tribute video plays the Titantron, then lit up with a moving tribute to Rey Mysterio's career. His debut as a teenager in Mexico, his WCW run, where he became a pioneer of cruiserweight wrestling, his WWE debut in 2002, bursting through the stage as fans erupted. Iconic matches with Eddie Guerrero, including their unforgettable rivalry and friendship. His 2006 Royal Rumble win and WrestleMania 22 World Championship victory, one of the most emotional triumphs in WWE history. Later moments with Dominik, where father and son competed together inside the ring. The tribute ended with Rey's words from years ago, "I may not be the biggest, but my heart will always be the strongest." Fans erupted in applause, with many in tears, as the chant of 619, 619 echoed throughout the arena. Dominik speaks again, a son's promise. After the tribute, Dominik wiped his tears and continued speaking, his voice breaking with emotion. "My dad taught me to never give up no matter how hard life gets. He taught me that being a champion wasn't about the belts. It was about the respect you earn and the love you give. I promise you, Dad, I'll carry your name with pride. I'll fight for you. I'll make sure the world never forgets Rey Mysterio." The WWE Universe, in a rare moment of unity, chanted, "Thank you, Rey," louder than ever before. Lucha Libre community honors Rey. In Mexico, the Lucha Libre world paid tribute to Rey in emotional ways. Arenas held 10-bell salutes before shows. Wrestlers wore armbands with 619 stitched on them. Major Lucha promotions dedicated entire events in his honor, reminding fans that Rey was not just a WWE legend, but a global icon. Children in mass, inspired by Rey, gathered outside arenas to pay their respects. His influence was everywhere, and his memory continued to inspire. Eddie Guerrero's family sends their love. In another touching moment, Eddie Guerrero's family sent a video tribute, acknowledging the bond Rey and Eddie shared. Rey was more than Eddie's rival. He was his brother. Together, they gave the world some of the greatest matches and stories wrestling has ever seen. Now they are reunited, and we know Eddie is smiling, waiting in the ring for his friend. The emotional callback left fans with goosebumps. The final goodbye in the ring. To close the show, WWE officials invited the entire roster down to the ring. Dominik stood in the center, still holding Rey's mask. As the bell tolled 10 times, the arena fell silent. Tears streamed down faces across the crowd, with chants of, "Gracias, Rey!" breaking out after the final toll. Dominik, now sobbing, raised the mask high above his head as the crowd erupted. Fireworks lit up the stage in one last tribute, and the screen displayed the message, "In loving memory of Rey Mysterio, a true legend forever." Social media explodes with tributes. Immediately after the broadcast, social media platforms were flooded with tributes from fans, wrestlers, and celebrities. Hashtags like Dush Thank Yuri, Legend Forever, and 619 trended worldwide. Clips of his iconic matches went viral again, and fans shared personal stories of how Rey inspired them to chase their dreams, no matter how impossible they seemed. Rey's legacy lives through Dominik. Though the night was filled with grief, one thing was clear. Rey Mysterio's legacy would live on. His son Dominik now carries the Mysterio name, and his vow to honor his father ensures that Rey's spirit will never fade. From the streets of Tijuana to the bright lights of WrestleMania, Rey's story was one of resilience, passion, and family. That story now continues with Dominik and with every fan who believed in him. Conclusion: a goodbye, but not the end. The tears that flowed as Dominik Mysterio broke down were not just his. They belonged to every fan who grew up watching Rey soar through the ropes, every child who wore a replica mask, and every wrestler who was inspired by him. Yes, the world said goodbye to Rey Mysterio the man, but his influence, the legend, the heart, the symbol of Lucha Libre, lives forever. And as Dominik so powerfully said, "This isn't the end. My dad will live on in every fight, every mask, every 619. Thank you, Dad. I love you." The WWE Universe responded with one final standing ovation, proving that Rey Mysterio's spirit will never be forgotten.